inside. Baby, you over like you hiking inside. She wanna me out friend like she inside. I'm just doing it to me, baby, like the Nike inside. Get money, unless it's money illegal. Ain't no referee, but she know I'm official. She bouncing that double dribble. That perfect, baby. Get it over in Turkey, baby. You want it on purpose, baby. Wetter than some water, let me serve it, baby. That perfect, baby. Yeah, that perfect, baby. Oh, I love the way you twerk it, baby. Yeah, that perfect, baby. That slow motion, baby. I don't see you bust it over, baby. That perfect, baby. That shit perfect, baby. Unless it's money illegal. Ain't no referee, but she know I'm official. She bouncing that double dribble. That perfect, baby. Put it over in Turkey, baby. That perfect, baby. Wetter than some water, let me serve it, baby.
What's going on, y'all? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Please hit that like, sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notifications so that you're able to get all of my content and all of my videos. Shouts out to the whole entire Lions Den basketball and boxing community. We are talking about both right now. At it again, late evening. If you're rocking with me, that's cool. If not, I definitely understand. But just trying to get this off my chest and talk to y'all while some of y'all are snowed in, and pretty much everybody is in this cold weather. What's up, No Pain? All right, man. Let's get right to it, man. Now, as you know, Scottie Pippen, he's been on a rampage once again. We all know that Scottie Pippen. This isn't anything new, and please hit the like when you come in here. Okay, double tap the screen and hit the like. Hit the like button. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Okay, it's free. It doesn't cost anything. All you gotta do is just double tap the screen. But Scottie Pippen, man, has been on record, and for those of y'all that watched the Patrick Bet-David interview, it was about 2 hours, but of course, it went viral all over the internet, chopping it up in pieces, shorts, into small little segments. But there's a segment that I kind of want to focus my attention on, and that's when, and I had already mentioned this talking about Scottie Pippen in the previous interview, in the previous video that I did talking about the interview. Look, Scottie Pippen was an elite defender, and I did pose a poll as to who is the best defender out of Scottie, MJ, Dennis Rodman, and Derek Harper. I'm sorry about that. Not Derek Harper. Oh my God, Ron Harper. And I posed that question for a couple of reasons, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But Scottie Pippen, man, has been on a rampage, man, and basically has been letting people know that he would have won 6 rings without MJ. Okay, and of course, Stephen A. Smith, he did his analysis on it, and a lot of other people, a lot of the talking pundits uh, on social media have given their thoughts on it. Now, more often than none, a lot of people have felt the same way that I felt, that without MJ, Scottie Pippen wouldn't have been built up to be who he is. Okay. Now, of course, you have the people that really they're not too fond of Michael Jordan. They don't really care for Michael Jordan. So of course they're gonna deflect by any means necessary. Okay. I've also said this. I've also said that without Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan wouldn't have those rings. But I'm not gonna go that far to say that on I would say the last couple of championships, because one could argue that without Dennis Rodman, okay, if you take Dennis Rodman off of that team, then we're having a different discussion. Okay. Pip almost won with Houston. His first. No, he did not. No, he did not. He wasn't even close. They were terrible in Houston. As a matter of fact, him and Barkley. That's one of the things that he talked about in the interview. They weren't in any position. If any, he was close. The closest he got was of course, the semifinals with the Bulls by himself, and then also in the Western Conference Finals with the Lakers, in which he couldn't be the alpha at the end of the game. The Lakers were up 15 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, the Blazers were up 15 points in the fourth quarter. They led them back, and of course, that was the timeless, the unforgettable pass, an alley-oop pass from Kobe to Diesel that sealed the deal. Scottie Pippen was non-existent and was not able to step up and be that guy that MJ was. So, but that was the closest he ever got, by himself. But he wasn't going to win 6 rings. He wasn't the player that Michael Jordan was, like offensively. He wasn't clutch like Michael Jordan or anything. But that's not what it's mainly about with the Blazers. Yeah, yeah. Even still, though, you already know that he wasn't the best player on that team. Okay. Now they made it. I mean, to the credit, he did make it to the Western Conference Finals. But he's saying it like, okay, I could have won 6 rings on his own and all this other stuff. And we all know that that's BS. You know. Now, would we have known what Scottie Pippen would have evolved into without Michael Jordan? We don't know. But I'm quite sure that the toughness that Michael Jordan had instilled in Scottie Pippen, I don't think he couldn't have received that from anybody else. I'm just keeping it. You're playing alongside who a lot of people consider the greatest player ever to do it, and he rubbed off on Scottie. You gotta remember, man. You're talking about a guy in Scottie Pippen who sat out because of a migraine in Game 7 uh, when it came to playing the Pistons. You're talking about a guy in Scottie Pippen who was not ready to face a dynamic bad boys team that was so tough, both mentally and physically, and he was just not ready for it. He didn't know what he was going to come, much less some of the other Eastern Conference teams that were in there. You said Jordan does not win without Scottie. Rodman 2 point, but that's not the conversation. And if you go back and you go look at the Last Dance, Scottie Pippen was not there for a lot of those games when it was just Rodman and Jordan. And then also you have to realize in the '96 finals, they weren't talking about Scottie Pippen as being the MVP. You know who they were talking about? They were talking about Rodman being the MVP. So you could keep saying that, that talking point that you keep saying, oh well, Scottie would, Jordan doesn't win without Scottie and all this other stuff. We know that. Okay, that's been rehearsed for well over 20 plus years. But the conversation that we're having is Scottie saying that he can win without Jordan. Okay, and when Jordan has pretty much came out on record and said, as selfish as people say that Michael Jordan was, as an a-hole, as much of an a-hole as they say that Michael Jordan was and everything, Jordan was still able to give Scottie Pippen his props and let it be known that we're not winning these championships without Scottie Pippen. And it's kind of the other. It's not the other way around. It really, honestly, man. Like, just to be real, man, he's really throwing Jordan up under the bus. A lot of people feel that way. I think Scottie could win without Jordan. Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. First off, he wasn't the type of offensive player that Jordan was. Okay, he couldn't finish in. He couldn't close out games. Okay, he might have closed out games like some games during the regular season and stuff like that. But more often than none, he wasn't. He wasn't the closer that Jordan was, and he wasn't the leader that Jordan was. Okay, he wasn't the leader that Jordan was. We're talking about a guy that came, and not to talk down on the college or nothing like that, but he came from from Central Arkansas. Nobody knew what Scottie Pippen was going to amount to. He didn't come out with that type of prowess, but Jordan, he took the lead by storm. Surprisingly, he took the lead by storm, because you got to remember who was drafted before Jordan, which was Sam Bowie, and then Hakeem Olajuwon, until he changed his name to Hakeem Olajuwon. But they were, and this is another thing that you have to realize too, No Pain. Hakeem Olajuwon had made it to the finals before Jordan. He made it. He actually played in the finals before Jordan. And he could have had a chance to win a championship before Jordan, because they played against the Boston Celtics. So Hakeem Olajuwon actually was on a trajectory. At least they thought that that he was going to be better than Jordan. That's why they drafted him ahead of Jordan. But we see what happened. Sam Bowie, you never heard from him again. Honestly, they didn't think Jordan was. This is what they thought Jordan was going to be. They thought Jordan was going to be just like another fly-by-night guard that was going to have. He'll have like a good couple of seasons and everything, but he wasn't going to be. They didn't see him as the greatest player. The only person that had came out in record to really say that they saw something in him like that was Bob Knight. I took my jersey, my MJ back and traded it. Oh my gosh, you did. Well, no, I mean, a lot of guys were doing that. You remember that back in our era, man. Everybody was doing that, man. I knew. Listen, when Jordan retired, I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and cap. Come on, get your ass out of the way. Sorry about that, man. These people can't drive. Get your dumb ass out of the way, man. They just pull right in front of you. Anyways, man. Where was I? Oh yeah, a lot of people when Scottie Pippen was by himself, a lot of people were buying Scottie Pippen shoes, because you gotta remember Scottie Pippen was that he had the flights. I'm not gonna lie to you, he did have some dope shoes, like when he had the flights and stuff. And everybody started to cling on to Pippen because they were looking for that next guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, they were looking for somebody similar to Jordan, you know? And there were some guys that thought the closest thing, they figured since, you know, he was his counterpart back then, everybody was going to cling on to Pippen. But then you also had other guys that were coming into the league. You had Penny Hardaway, and you had eventually, what's it called? He came through. You had Grant Hill and all these other guys. They were looking for somebody to replace, you know, Jordan and everything. But we all knew that wasn't going to take place, and definitely Pippen was not. Oh, what's up, Ted? I guess you were in the bushes. Ted said, man, I am sick of commenting. It's getting on my nerves, typing. It's all good, though, man. I mean, this is really just a lesson, because a lot of people don't really know what really truly took place back then. I might not know some things. Maybe y'all could put me on some game about some things. But the one thing that I do know is that Scottie Pippen is not winning 6 rings by himself. And this is another thing too. While y'all are in here too, he said he won defensive player of the year. That's cap. He never won defensive player of the year. Scottie Pippen never won defensive player of the year, man. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. He could have. Now, shout out to True the King. Definitely go sub to True the King TV. We've actually talked about this before. I had True the King on my panel a long time ago, and True the King TV said you could make an argument. I can't remember. Don't quote me on it. Next time I talk to him again, but I want to hear what he says about this. But I think his feelings about Scottie Pippen being a better defender than Michael Jordan. He felt that Scottie Pippen had an argument to win Defensive Player of the Year a couple of years of those seasons, and I do agree with that, you know. And I'm not going to sit here and act like Scottie Pippen was just as good as a defender as Michael Jordan. Listen, I'll put it to you like this, and I've always said this. Michael Jordan was an elite defender. He was more of an elite defender than Scottie Pippen was when Scottie Pippen first got to the league. Listen, I'm talking about a young Michael Jordan. A young Michael Jordan, not Jordan like the second three-peat Jordan, even though he was still a tenacious defender. But I'm talking about a young, fresh out of Carolina Michael Jordan. you were not getting the ball past half court a lot of the time. Now, did he gamble a lot? Yes, he did. But one of the things that he played so well, if you threw the ball on the weak side of the floor, it was all day long. He was getting like 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 steals. He was a tenacious, even more of a tenacious defender, like playing you 94 feet. I'm talking about a young Michael Jordan, like in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Like even in the early 90s and stuff. But people base, like, eventually Pippen started to be more a kind of a better defender. I'm not gonna say he was like greater than everybody or whatever, but he started to take that more of that assignment. Like, for instance, man, he would pick up a lot of assignments, you know, on the opposing team or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit here and say that he blows Scottie Pippen out of the water on defense, but you got to understand that Jordan was playing both ends of the floor too. He had a bulk of scoring that he had a responsibility of scoring, and on top of that, he had the defense, and on top of that, he was doing rebounding. Now, Scottie Pippen, as far as a playmaker and all that other stuff, and all around, like he said, yes, I'll give him that. I give him that. He was the primary ball handler. A lot of times, they really didn't have just one ball handler, but if you want to give him the primary ball handler title, yes, it was Scottie Pippen. You said he got punked on the court. Yeah, in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, he did in the beginning, but he started to get a little tougher when they beat the Pistons that year. They beat them in they finally were able to get a hold of them. When they were knocking him to the floor and stuff like that, he would just get right back up and not let it bother him. You know what I'm saying? But way back then, it was just kind of like I'm not gonna say he was, in fear of them and all that other stuff, but he was a little intimidated at first because you didn't know what to expect. Everybody was and not just Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, all those guys were. They didn't know what to expect when you played the Pistons, when you were going in the Palace of Auburn Hills. You didn't know what the fuck to expect right then, man. You were going to get your ass knocked down to the floor. You were going to be met by Lambeer. You were going to be met by you were going to be met by Edwards. You were going to be met by Dennis Rodman. You were going to be met by Spider Sally, the original Spider. The original Spider, not Donovan Mitchell. You were going to be met by those guys. And they didn't feel any sympathy for you. They didn't care if you were Jordan. They didn't care if you were Dominique Wilkins. They didn't care if you were Larry Bird. They didn't give a fuck who the fuck you were that was coming through the middle. And that's what I loved about about that mentality. And like I said, it wasn't just the Pistons that played that way. Everybody like, oh man, it was just the Pistons that played physical. If I told you something, y'all probably wouldn't even believe me. But if I get some old school cats on here, like that really know the history of basketball and stuff, they wouldn't say that I'm capping. The Milwaukee Bucks, back in those days, they were just as physical. The 76ers, they were just as physical. The Boston Celtics were just as physical. So, and I know a lot of people, they ride for Pippen. That's why they don't like to have these conversations and stuff. But, hey, it's a conversation that has to be had. If you're going to sit up there on a podcast and you're going to tell the world that you would have won six titles without Michael Jordan, I'm gonna need you to come with a better. I'm gonna need you to come with facts on that and lay it out for me and help me understand and make sense to me because a lot of people don't even see that happening. Now, was he a great player? Yeah, he was, but he's not winning six by himself. At least from what I saw. And I think that Jordan he eventually he was able to rub off on Pippen, especially going into the 93 94 season. He was able to rub off on Pippen. You know what I'm saying? And then Pippen tried to do what he could, but he just wasn't Jordan. Yeah, stupid motherfucker. Well, I already said that, and Jordan said that too. But that's not. We've already said that plenty of times. Jordan had already stated that he said that. You know what I'm saying? That's not what it is. We already know that you needed Pippen's defense. I would say that more so in the first championship. In the second championship, I mean, you had Ron Harper and you had Dennis Rodman though. That's why I posed that poll right there. You know, you I asked y'all who was the better defender out of all of them, out of Ron Harper, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen. So we all know that. I mean, Jordan was able to admit that you have the greatest, who some people consider the greatest player, and he's the greatest player in my eyes, the greatest shooting guard ever. Admitting that they're not winning six championships without Scottie Pippen. So you said Ron Harper, Dennis Rodman, them niggas uh, was role players. I mean, yeah, but you still needed them, and you needed Dennis Rodman. I mean, Pippen was a role player too. I mean, if you really want to be honest, I mean, he was he was a great role player, but he was a role player. I mean, he played defense, he clamped that other stuff, but I mean, could he carry a team, uh, by himself? I mean, could he win by himself? He showed that he couldn't. I mean, he only had one season, and then on top of that, he tried to do it with the Trailblazers. And you know what? I know being older and all this other stuff. Like, okay, maybe Houston, but when we talk about the Portland Trailblazers or whatever, that's no excuse. The average age of between Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman, the average age was like 33 in the starting in that starting five. It was 33 years old when they won that championship. The average age of when I think they won in the bubble. I'm talking about the Lakers when they won in the bubble. It was like 30.3 or something like that. So actually, the Lakers were younger, and the Chicago Bulls were older when they were winning their championship. You gotta understand, Dennis Rodman was in his getting ready to be in his late 30s. Michael Jordan was entering into his late 30s. What's up with it? The brother Wilts. Well, you know, man, look, bro. If you feel that Scottie Pippen is overrated, if you say that he's overrated in terms of his offense, yeah, but in defense, no. Scottie Pippen was an elite defender. Now, am I picking him up as my small forward? No, I'm not. Jordan is, though. But on defense, Dennis Rodman smokes Scottie Pippen easily. Matter of fact, he smokes everybody that I mentioned. He smokes Jordan on defense. He smokes Ron Harper, and he smokes Scottie Pippen. I'm not talking about an overall player. I'm just talking about defense alone. You you said Jordan made Pippen. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man. Like Scottie was not known. Like you you have to look up what college he went to. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll know if somebody, but you know what you were getting with Jordan. You knew who Jordan was coming out of UNC. Scottie Pippen didn't come in taking the league by storm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go look at it. Go look at the first couple of seasons, man, and look how many minutes Scottie Pippen played. You know what I'm saying? So, you tell me who made who. You sit up in it. Now, if you want to say that he made, he took a lot of the the bulk of the defensive assignments and stuff like that. You know, some of the weight off of Jordan's shoulders, yeah. But he didn't make Jordan. Jordan was already an alpha. Jordan was already ready to step to the floor with that mentality. Jordan was already a killer. You know what I'm saying? Scottie Pippen was not no killer. He never was no killer. At the end of the game, he wanted to smoke. You know what I'm saying? There's certain guys that want to smoke. It's just like with Anthony Edwards. Like when he missed a shot against Memphis, he wanted to smoke. Shea Gilchrist-Alexander, the MVP, the best player in the league. Okay? The best player in the league. He wants to smoke at the end of the game. Okay? Ja Morant, he wants to smoke at the end of the game. LeBron, he don't want no smoke at the end of the game. He trying to do it at 40 years old. He still can't fucking capitalize. You know? I'm talking about that type of Kobe. You know he wanted to smoke at the end of the game. Magic Johnson. Hey, look, Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson didn't mind taking the smoke at the end of the game. He didn't do it. He didn't do it, that much. But if he needed to step it up, hey, he would. You know. Same thing with Larry Bird. That's why I got Larry above LeBron. Because he wants to smoke at the end of the game. Who am I going to give the ball to at the end of the game? I'm giving it to Larry Bird, not LeBron James. I'm talking about the small forward position. Jordan was a good scorer. Nah, he wasn't a ball hog, man. I mean, go look at his assist total. Like you act like Jordan didn't average a lot of assists. Like there was one year where Jordan had to play point guard. You talking about Jordan with the ball hog? He shot. How come he shoots a higher percentage than LeBron did? Now, if you say Kobe was, yeah, Kobe Kobe was dogging the Rock up until he, you know, Phil had to explain to him, hey, you gotta use your team more. But even still, Kobe was still, Kobe was taking bad shots, man. Kobe took a lot of bad shots and he took a lot of inefficient shots, man. Don't do it. There'd be so many. Okay, so then why is his usage rate through the roof? Luka, he's a ball hog. Okay, if we're gonna be real, LeBron, like he he gotta have control. That's why you gotta run his type of system. You know what I'm saying? You have to alter your game for him. Like he got to have control of everything. LeBron can't move without the ball, man. I mean, he can, but he chooses not to. He's got to play point guard. He got to be the power forward. He got to be the center. He got to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, coaches got to accommodate to LeBron. That's why he done got rid of all of them. You know what I'm saying? He got rid of Darvin Ham, got rid of Vogel, got rid of, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, don't, like, look, if you want me to make this like a channel where I'm just dedicated to cooking LeBron, I mean, we could play that game and we could do that all day. I could talk about so much shit about LeBron that it'll have you just rethinking LeBron as your favorite player. But I'm not going to do that. You know why? Because what's the point of it? It makes no sense. And that's why I never compare LeBron to Jordan. Like, I think really, honestly, it's a dumbass comparison. They don't even play the same position. They don't play the same style. They don't have the same mentality. Like, they don't have the same type of determination, the heart, the will, clutch factor. You know what I'm saying? Moves in the post, moves, master of the mid range. None of that shit they can't compare. So that's why it's a stupid ass comparison. If you're gonna compare anybody to LeBron, you need to compare somebody, like a Magic Johnson, like a Scottie Pippen or some shit like that, like a Grant Hill or something like that. Kobe, you could compare that to Jordan or somebody like that. To me, it's a stupid ass comparison. Right, exactly. Like so I mean, if we want to do that, but I don't base this. Oh yeah, we got to come over here. We got to compare Jordan to LeBron. I think it's just a dumbass comparison, but people still do it. When you really look at the game of basketball, LeBron, no, he's not, man. And we know that you're just sitting here trolling. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make it even more easier for you. I'm gonna get off the subject because I'm not gonna continue talking about LeBron. Okay. If you want to talk about LeBron, man, you could go ahead and continue on, but I'm not gonna continue talking about him. Okay, we started off with Pippen. I threw some references in there, but we're just not gonna keep talking about him, man. All right. If you want to talk about him, you can talk about him on your lonesome. So I'm gonna move on, and I'm about to go ahead and I'm gonna start talking about what Shakur Stevenson had to say about Canelo Alvarez getting his ass beat by Terrence Crawford. Listen, man. Shakur Stevenson came out and basically said that Crawford would easily beat Canelo Alvarez because Canelo Alvarez is not he's not as skilled and he would be able to walk through the punches that Canelo throws. He said the only thing that Canelo would probably be able to get Crawford with is his power and because of his weight. First off, man, and Shakur Stevenson said that he could beat Canelo too if they were at the same weight. So let's break all this down, right? Let's break all this down. Now, first off, for as good as Canelo is, I mean, as good as Crawford is, as good as Crawford is, he's not gonna just go in there and walk through Canelo's punches. That's not happening. Okay, and also he's trying to compare a 23-year-old Canelo who wasn't even evolved as a fighter fighting Mayweather, because he's bringing up the fact that Mayweather won easily. You know, Oscar De La Hoya has said the same thing. Mayweather won easily against Canelo and all this other blah blah blah, all that other stuff, right? But we got to understand that Canelo has evolved since then. Canelo has really evolved as a fighter since that time. And the one thing that you cannot do is try to sit up there and underestimate Canelo Alvarez just because you saw him lose to Mayweather and you seen Terrence Crawford dominate Errol Spence the way that he did. He still has knockout power, okay? Canelo does. Okay, he still has knockout power. He still is listen, a lot of people don't think that Canelo is slick. He is slick. He does set some traps up. Okay? And also, you got to think, man, that as much as I like Crawford and everything, he's taking on a challenge and a task, man, that, you know, Jermell Charlo had to come up there and do, and that's to move up in weight. Listen, the hits are different. You know what I'm saying? There's weight classes for a reason. And that's why, you know, I feel like Canelo would get the edge on Crawford. Now, I'm not saying this though. I'm not saying that Canelo is gonna knock Crawford out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that this is gonna be an easy fight. Listen, I'm gonna say this: it could go either way. It could go either way. Um, it could really go either way, man. But if I'm a betting man, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with Canelo. You know, but it would be great to see Crawford win and do something unprecedented. If I put to you like this, if Crawford does the unthinkable and he goes up there and he wins, Crawford he's automatically in the top 5 in history. Because you have to think about it, man. To move up at that rate of speed and to be able to move up like he did and to be successful at doing it the way that he did right after that, man, that's crazy. And on top of that, you took down one of the kings. And on top of that, you're doing it as an underdog. People still have Crawford as an underdog if they fight. You know what I'm saying, in September. Of course, he's gonna walk in as an underdog once again. And they did it, you know, against Spence. The problem with Spence is, speaking of Spence, he's not. It's likely he's not even going to fight again. He's talking about, yeah, he wants to be the, Earl. I'm gonna talk about Earl for just a second, man. Earl wants to sit up there and say, yeah, I want to give the people, I want to be me when the fight and everything, when he fights Sebastian Fandora and everything. But we already know, no pain. Everybody wanted to see Crawford versus Spence. That's what the people wanted to see. They didn't want to see him against Fandora. They didn't want to see him against any of these other guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, as some people call them, tomato cans. They didn't want to see him against any of those guys. And so the reason why I bring that up is because Crawford, he's giving the people what they want. Like, people want to see, like, because they didn't think that this fight was going to go down. But now it's possible. It's going to happen. It's going to happen in September. It's finalizing everything. It's going to happen. So now they're going back and forth. They're talking and stuff. But the one thing that I don't want either of these fighters to do is underestimate each other, because that's what happened with Spence. He underestimated Crawford bad. I mean, calling him crawfish and talking about, smoking that bud pack and stuff like that. And everybody was on it. I mean, no pain, you were guilty of it too. You thought that Earl Spence was just going to walk in there and dominate Crawford and stuff like that. You thought that he was just going to come in there and just dismantle Crawford and stuff and knock him out and all this other stuff. And you said the same stuff about Charlo doing that to Canelo, and we saw the end result, man. Well, I mean, listen, man. He got way. He got a big head. You know what I'm saying? Um, and now, listen. As much as I like Spence, now you got to wonder who was trying to prolong this fight. Who was trying to prolong everything? Because for a while, people were thinking that Crawford was trying to, I guess, prolong the fight and stall the fight and stuff like that. For the longest time, people thought that, But now, because of not being able to do the rematch, not jumping in there doing a rematch right away, you have a situation where Spence, he wanted to go get his surgery done and stuff like that, and then it's like, okay, we understand you got your surgery done, cataract, all that other stuff, retina, all this other stuff or whatever, that's going on with your eye and stuff. Okay, but like you said, no pain. One time you said, okay, well, okay, so when are you gonna fight? That's what people were waiting on. And Crawford was sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. You had the rematch clause and all this other stuff, and people are waiting. They're waiting for you to, on that turnaround time, for you to jump right back in there. And guess what? It didn't happen. And so you left the people high and dry. Earl Spence left the people high and dry. No matter how we want to try to flip it and make it sound good and all this other stuff, he left the people high and dry. High and dry. So, but like I said, to get back to Canelo and to get back to Crawford, this fight is not going to, I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight. Now, I don't want people to look at Crawford like Mayweather. Don't look at him like Mayweather. They're two different fighters. Okay? They're two completely different fighters. And Canelo has evolved since then. Canelo's a much a much better fighter than what he was when he was younger. Now, in order for you to see, this is another thing too. Canelo has moved up. Crawford made a statement, man, that oh yeah, well Canelo had moved up, and I think Crawford said I moved up, but I didn't lose or anything like that. But yeah, he moved up, but you got to realize he knocked out Kovalev. Did Andre Ward knock out Kovalev? So let's have that discussion. Okay, yes, he lost to Bivol, and I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I mean, he jumped up again, man, and Bivol gave him the business. You know what I'm saying? But hey, he dared to be great. He moved up twice again and whatnot. But he did. It's not like he wasn't fighting. Like he was fighting some elite fighters, man. Like Kovalev. You know, he wasn't no slouch. He did fight. You said Kovalev was old. No, no, don't give me no old. If you step in the ring, now I don't want to hear none of this old stuff. If we're gonna go by that logic, Mayweather was old. He still won. You always mention his age. I mean, LeBron James, he's 40 years old. He's still playing. He old, right? I mean, he's not winning, right? So don't give me this old stuff, man. Like, yeah, oh yeah, he was old. All this other stuff. George Foreman was was way past his prime. He was still winning championships. Man, that's one of the most life jacket life jacket talking points that you could give me. Oh yeah, he was old. There's lots of motherfuckers that was old and they were still winning. You tripping, nah? You tripping, man, on that one. But anyway, yeah, man. That's what Shakur Stevenson had to say. And Shakur Stevenson talking about he can win. Now, I do believe this though. Okay, I know y'all gonna think I'm crazy for saying this. I love Shakur. Um, uh, you know, he's not out of him and Haney. I'm riding with Haney, but I just think that Shakur is he's a better fighter. If Shakur was at that weight class and he was to fight Canelo, I think he would have a chance with Canelo, and this is why. Man, it's something about Shakur, man, that's so special, bro. Like he's just really too slick, man. Like I haven't seen, like I told you, y'all might think I'm crazy for saying that. Like I think Shakur is better than Tank and Devin and all these other guys. I think Shakur smokes anybody because if you go back and you go look at Ali, Muhammad Ali in his prime, okay, I'm talking about Cassius Clay, and you look at the way he fought, and you look at Shakur Stevenson. There are a lot of similarities, man. And Shakur, he's hard to catch, man. I know he can. I know he can, man. Like see this is we finally agree on something. I know he can. Like I can't even argue with a guy like Shakur. Like Shakur has got the complete package, and he's entertaining to watch. Now, a lot of people were upset at him the previous fight because they felt like he was running and all this other stuff or whatever. But I mean, he's a magician around the ring, man. His ring IQ is pretty good, man, and you got to be able to catch him too, man. And he knows how to. He's not going to let you set traps and all of this other stuff, man, and he knows how to, like, he can box you and everything. Only thing is, man, I mean, Shakur, I mean, okay, he doesn't have the power like Canelo maybe has, but even still, it's not necessarily really about your power all the time. It can be, you know, your precision and how you use your punches and stuff. And I just think that, man, he's an exceptional boxer, but it's just a matter of him getting up there. But it's not gonna happen. He's never gonna get up to no 168 and fight no Canelo. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, man. Tank is nowhere near skilled as Shakur. He's nowhere near skilled. Um, as a matter of fact, Tank is not Tank's ring IQ is not even as high as Shakur Stevenson. You know, I mean, the thing that saved Tank and Shakur Stevenson, I believe that he wants to smoke, man. He wants to smoke. You know, but I'm waiting for these guys to go ahead and get. That's what everybody want to see. They want to see Shakur versus Tank. That's what everybody want to see. Now we're getting ready to see the rematch in a little bit with Devin and with Ryan. Your favorite fighter, no pain, Lion Ryan, crying Ryan. Um, but there's a little bit of some controversy. Charleston White came out and disrespected both Devin Haney and Bill Haney. Okay, and basically Charleston White was I'm just talking about disrespecting them, calling calling Devin Haney, man, you know, making fun of his religion, making fun of the Muslim, you know, religion and stuff, you know what I'm saying that Bill Haney, you know, was, you know, pretty much being, you know, perverted and, uh, you know, saying, and saying that, uh, he, I think Bill Haney was mad because Charleston White, he wanted money from a podcast. He had asked some money for, you know, for a podcast or whatever, and Bill Haney, had, I guess, told him no. And like I said, man, it's three sides to every story. It's Charleston White side, Bill Haney side, and then the truth or whatever, you know. But you know, Charleston White came off disrespectful. Of course, you know he's gonna do that for views and for clicks and for likes and stuff like that. But to disrespect Bill Haney like that, I thought that that was real foul. Um, you know, you don't have to like Bill Haney. You know what I'm saying as a person. Not, you know, you got that's how it is in the city, especially. You know, some people are gonna really love you, and some people are gonna absolutely cannot stand your ass. But to hate on Haney and saying that you know he was getting his stuff pushed in by Diddy at the Diddy parties and stuff like that, you don't have no proof of that. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney has a lot of haters. You know what I'm saying? And we got one on here now. Okay, that's fine. You ain't gotta mess with him. But all I'm saying is that you gotta understand what that tells me about you is you like guys that cheat, that get over. You know, like when if you messing with Ryan, you like guys that don't take their craft serious, that don't respect the sport of boxing. Devin Haney does all that. The Haneys do all that. You know what I'm saying? And he's a winner. So we riding with Haney over here. But I'm talking about the disrespect that Charleston White that did. You know what I'm saying? He was saying that, you know, he couldn't fight and all this other stuff or whatever. If he couldn't fight, then how come this man got undisputed? If he couldn't fight, how come he was able to move up and beat Kambosos twice and also beat Lomachenko? I want to know that. You know what I'm saying? If he can't fight, then how come he was undefeated coming into the fight and he's still undefeated? You know what I'm saying? Uh, even though Lion Ryan did the punk ass shit he did. And see, you're gonna have a whole bunch of these Lion Ryan Garcia minions trying to come in and say, "Oh yeah, man, man, Ryan Garcia, he didn't cheat and all this other stuff." But when he runs it back, when we fight clean, no steroids, I want to see. No, he's not right, man. He's not right. He's not right, man. Like everything he said was out of pocket, bro. He's not right about Haney. Bill Haney, man, he's gonna give interviews. Like we don't know. Were we there at the conversation that they had? No. So for him to sit up there and say that Bill didn't offer him, any money or anything, like I said, man, that's not the first time that Charleston White has gotten into it with some people because over money or dispute or amount of money and stuff like that. There's been multiple people that have came out and on record and stated it. And then what does he do? He gets mad because he doesn't get what he wants and stuff. And then next thing you know, he starts going and talking shit about people on the media. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna happen. Haney is gonna win the next fight. Listen, Ryan Garcia, man, Ryan Garcia without the steroids is not gonna beat Devin Haney. That's just not gonna happen. Ryan Garcia, like, for as powerful as they say that this guy hits and all this other stuff, if he was so powerful and so, so strong and all this other stuff, what happened? What happened to him in the Tank fight? And he got a stoppage on a gut punch, a gut punch. But if he wins, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna say, hey, the better fighter won that night. But I know that that's not gonna happen. We all know that that's not gonna happen, man. So I know he's not Tank. He's a much more skilled fighter than Tank, and 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 he doesn't duck the smoke like Tank do. Tank been Tank Tank don't want to move up. Tank don't want to take no risk. Tank don't want to dare to be great, man. He just want to sit back on social media talking trash about Crawford's wife and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? He wants to sit up there and call Crawford's wife fat and all this other stuff or whatever when you got problems with your baby mama and stuff. You don't see Haney doing that stuff. So yeah, you're right. Haney is nothing like Tank, and I don't want Haney to be nothing like Tank. Not as a person. Absolutely not. Yeah, he beat. That's the thing. He wasn't on steroids. He wasn't taking anything. Like, I mean, what? No, he's not. If you want, if I mean, he undisputed. What is Tank? If Haney is so trash, how come he undisputed? How come he hasn't been beaten yet? Okay, you talk about all this trash. You talk all this trash. Um, saying that, oh yeah, Mayweather, he undefeated and all this other stuff. Haney undefeated too. No, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Put your money on Ryan there. I want you to put your money on Ryan. I bet you won't put 500 on Ryan. I bet you that. You won't put 500 on Ryan. I bet you won't. Hey, you know what? You want to know how confident I know that you're not going to put your money where your mouth is? Put your whole paycheck on Ryan Garcia. Yeah, so you won't do it. You won't put your whole paycheck on Ryan Garcia. I bet you wouldn't even put $100 on Ryan Garcia. Shoot, but Haney, I got confidence in Haney. I know Haney gonna come out. He's had time to reflect, and unlike Errol Spence, he gonna jump right back into the ring and get his get back. Okay, that's what he gonna do. He gonna jump right back in there and run it back, just like an old school mentality type of fighter is supposed to do. Like Tyson, you know what he said? He said, "I want to run it back." Like with Tommy Hitman Hearns, you know what? He said, "I want to run it back." You know what I'm saying? He said, "I want the rematch." You know what I'm saying? Like Mayweather, with Mayweather and Madonna or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He said, "I want to run it back." Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Nah, you Team Ryan all day. Quit capping. You Team Ryan all day, nigga. You was talking all that trash, oh line, Ryan Garcia, King Ryan this and all this other bullshit. You ain't no damn king. Ryan ain't no king. He the king of cheating. Nah, that's not gonna happen though. It's not gonna happen. And see, I know. See, y'all trying to duck the smoke now. Nah, it's here now. Y'all talk all this trash. When they fight again, I don't want to hear no excuses. I already know they coming though. If and when, which I know it's gonna happen, when Devin Haney wins again, I can hear all these excuses. Oh well, man, he had all this time to get this done and stuff like that. Well, he still did a rematch. Unlike Errol Spence, he didn't run it back even when he had to get surgery done and all this other stuff. So I don't want to hear none of these excuses, man. I don't want to hear none of these excuses, man. What's it called? Devin Haney gonna step up in there. He gonna do his thing with his pops on his side. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna handle business, man. And he gonna get back to the regularly scheduled program. That's okay. You don't gotta be scared. It'd be too easy. It would be too easy, man. But look, I'm gonna go ahead and roll out. Make sure y'all hit that like, sub to the channel if you're not a member. Also hit them notifications too. Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Shouts out to the whole entire LDBC, basketball and boxing communities. Until then, man, I'm gone.